So, having put Sir Roderick to rest, Pacifist is now still wondering about Umaril and all that, and he's realised that actually the place he might want to go, or the place he's decided to go to try and gather a bit more information, is back actually to the Arcane University. To the Mystic Archives. Because he wants to reread a section of the Song of Pelennor.
Ah, you must be the Arcane University.
And he's got some of that stuff at his own Frostcrag Spire as well, but there's also a copy in the Mystic Archives, and he always goes right when he should be going left. It's going to be reading by candlelight, I think, because it's not quite morning yet. Not there. Here we are, in the Mystic Archives. And that's Tormina right there. Okay, actually this would be a very good time to ask her about her research, because after all, there's nobody else here to overhear us.
I hope I can help.
So have you found out anything about the Mythic Dawn?
I turned up copies of the first 2 volumes from my colleagues, and I spent a little time rereading them.
Okay,
Mankar Camoran certainly is a fascinating writer, undoubtedly insane, but fascinating. Ah, but more to the point, it appears to me that the first words of each paragraph may be significant. A message may be hidden there. I'll continue to study the problem. Come by tomorrow if you like. I may think of something else.
Okay, so the first words of each paragraph.
The first words of each paragraph are the key. I'm sure of it. Well, I shouldn't keep you. Goodbye.
Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. And these are the commentaries that I've used already. So, I'll look into that. That's not quite why I'm here, though. I was looking for the books on Pelennor. This library needs some system. These archives are not very well ordered. Where is it? I know I've seen it. I saw it last time, and it was somewhere on the sort of lower shelves. Ah, here we are. Don't think it's volume. There should be some more stuff on Umaril here. There's just Pelennor on his enemy, and that looks promising. Yeah, blah 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 about the volumes. Pelennor Whitestrake was the enemy of all elf-kind that lived in Cyril in those days, mainly though he took it upon himself to slay the sorcerer kings of the Aelids in pre-arranged open combats rather than at war. Fields of rebellion he left to the growing armies of the Paravane his bull nephew. Pelennor called it Harrowmere of Copper and Tea. Harrowmere of Copper and Tea. Cup of tea? Well, into a duel at the Tor and ate his neck veins while screaming praise to Raymond, a name that no one knew yet. On his enemy. Several enemies are mentioned here. But Pelennor seems quite crazy, actually. Eating his enemy's neck veins. My goodness, I've refused to believe that I am the sort of incarnation of this madman. God, how did the Shaper's head was smashed upon the goat-faced altar of Nindar, and in his wisdom Pelennor saw that a small plague spell to keep that evil from reforming by well-kinned magic. Later that season, Pelennor slew Hadul on the granite steps of Keatar, the Fire King's spears, knowing their first refute. For a time, no weapon on the Aelids could pierce his armor, which Pelennor admitted was unlike any crafted by men. Yeah, no wonder, since he had sort of godly armor. But would say no more even when pressed. When Huna, whom Pelennor raised from goblin slave to hoplite and loved well, took death from an arrowhead made from the beak of Calathal the Singer, the White Strake went on his first madness. Okay, so that's his first madness, and eating people's neck veins is not mad? Weird. He wrought destruction from Narla all the way to Celadil and erased those lands from the maps of elves and men and all things in them, and Perif was forced to make sacrifice to the gods to keep them from leaving the earth in their disgust. I don't think Pelennor was a good man at all. And then came the storming of White Gold, where the Aelids had made pact with the Aurorans of Meridia and summoned them, and appointed the terrible and golden-hued half-elf Umaril. For the first time since his coming. So finally something on Umaril. So far we've learnt that Pelennor was horrible. Umaril is a half-elf, although that's sort of in quotation marks. And for the first time since his coming, it was Pelennor who was called out to battle by another. So frankly, Umaril did nothing except just do to Pelennor what he did to everybody else. For Umaril had the blood of the Arda and would never know death. Right, so he's not exactly taking the risk that Pelennor is. The blood of the Arda. The Arda, I think, is a sort of joint term for both the Aedra and the Daedra, so both the gods and the Daedra are demons. And he's a half-elf. Okay, so it's sort of half-elf and half-Daedra. Okay, that would sort of explain why he has sort of Daedric nature, but is still a sort of an Aelid kind of ancient elf. Is there more in volume 4? It's more about Pellennor's wars and the pogrom of the elves by men. Pelennor grew furious and made names. Umaril made names of what cowards he thought he saw around him. And made for the tower by himself. Pelennor often acted without thought. Well, some character he must have been. And, you know, Pacifist is not an embodiment of this madman. That's just strange. He has got a new perspective now on Umaril, an interesting perspective, but a very difficult one. If he's half elf and half Daedra, then he's sort of half people and half demon, and what does that mean in moral terms? Pacifist is also not at all comfortable with the idea of sort of an outright attack upon Galus Malatos. I mean, it's one thing to defend people from imminent threat, and another to directly attack. But then again, of course, we know who's been behind all those attacks upon people. That's Umaril, so he's still indecisive about this. And in fact, now that he's here, he's going to, and has got a little tip from Taormina, he's going to...
Good to see you!
I've been hearing disturbing tales about Oblivion gates opening all across Cyrodiil. I hope it's just wild talk.
Afraid not, Taormina.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
What's the news from the other parts of Tamriel?
I hear the legions have been recalled from Fort Swampmoth in Blackmarsh, and many of the Argonian slaves have returned to their tribes.
I have heard Argonia is a strange and treacherous place. It is no wonder odd things are happening there.
Safe travels.
Funny you should be explaining
Farewell.
that to Dark Elves, since Dark Elves in Morrowind, or Dark Elves in general, in Morrowind, actually keep Argonians as slaves. But that sounds as if it was somewhere in Black Marsh. Slavery is illegal in the rest of the Empire. It was a piece of news that was very strange, actually.
Good day.
Can you tell me about those rumors?
The Mages Guild runs more or less like it always did.
There. You don't tell me about that, will
Good
you?
day.
Just her, because she's a Dark Elf. Oh well. Okay, so the first word. Greetings, reader. Enter every night. Enter my palace. Endlessly roaring. Offering red drink. Greetings, reader. That's okay. Enter. Going to every night. You enter something every night. You enter my palace. So every night you can enter my palace. And endlessly... This is where you get just gibberish again, honestly. Endlessly roaring, offering red drink. So you're supposed to, what? Roar and offer red drink and drink his palace? Whosoever answers your whisper hides enraptured, recorded, enslaved. Whosoever answers your whisper hides enraptured, recorded, enslaved. So if you whisper, if you offer red wine and roar, then someone will answer whispering, but he's also hiding and enraptured and enslaved and recorded. That's just strange. Oops, sorry. Here we go. The Oathbreakers. Woe every reader that once understood him. Right, so the Oathbreakers don't like readers who once understood, Dagon. He endeth starlight. Still not very clear, to say the least. More gibberish, it seems to me. May I deathlessly deny all your sons under nothing? Oh, come on. That's crap. May I deathlessly deny all your sums under nothing? That's just silly. Okay, Pacifist is mostly confused now, and what he's gonna do is get this Sir Roderick's Fund for the Poor started, I think. And Market District is a decent place to sell off some of the stuff, I guess.
Spare a coin to the infirm.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's going to donate the money that he gets from selling Sir Roderick's weapon to the poor. Let's just see what we can get for it. Right, so okay, I'm gonna put in a gold piece myself into that fund and say that 120 gold is what's in that
Another
fund.
satisfied customer.
And I think most likely what that means is for a while every beggar that I meet, because they're poor, right, is going to get 20 gold. And that means I can give 6 beggars 20 gold.